These are the NYXI Hyperion 3s for the Nintendo Switch 2, and they are the first Pro Joy-Con to hit the Nintendo Switch 2. But are they going to be worth it for you to pick up? What's up, guys? My name is Uncle G. Welcome back to the channel today. If they have not done so already, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the video. I would greatly appreciate it. And let's get right into this. Now, I've already done a full video on the NYXI Hyperion 3s. That was technically a first impressions video, but I ended up going into super big detail on them. So if you want to check that video out, I'm going to link it right here. It's also in the description. But I'm going to try to make this one not as long as that one, but likely it's going to be that as long or longer. And we're going to talk about these NYXI Hyperion 3s, what they've changed since the pre-production units, because these are the full retail units, what's better, what's worse, what's the same, and if it's worth it for the price. All right, here's the retail box for the NYXI Hyperion 3s. It really hasn't changed much since that pre-production box. So I think it's actually identical. The packaging is all the same, and the contents you get in the box are also all the same as well. We have the manual that's going to explain how to do things with the color of the lights and the sticks and things of that nature. The couple little pamphlets and things like that you'll get in the box. I haven't really looked through these, but it's probably something cool. I just don't really need to look at that for the purpose of this review. And let's get to the actual devices themselves. Now, fun fact here, these Joy-Con in my hands right here that I just pulled this box are actually the pre-production units. We can tell that because I have the they're right here, the misprint. Can I get it to focus? There we go. The misprint RZ button is right there. You can see. And here are the actual NYXI Hyperion 3s. Now, the way we're going to tell the difference in this video, because we're going to be comparing these two in this video. So just to know, throughout this video, the purple joysticks and regular D-pad, and of course I'll mention it as well, is the retail unit of the NYXI Hyperion 3s. And these, when you see these on screen, they're the same thing basically physically. There's really no differences physically. They're actually identical. But just know that when we're talking about the originals, we're talking about these guys with the black stick caps. Okay, and if you've missed that first video, I'm going to repeat here for you a few specs of this guy. So first, we got Hall effect joysticks. They are not TMR sticks to my knowledge. I will fix that on screen and update you if they are TMR sticks. We have micro switches, so the buttons on here are going to be really clicky buttons. You can hear, you can't really hear on my mic, but they're very clicky, like, you know, mouse button style buttons all over the front buttons, as well as the D-pad has clicky buttons, and both trigger and bumpers also have clicky micro switch style buttons. We have a 9-axis gyro, which is, if you've watched the first review, I love the 9-axis gyro. It's super duper smooth, and nothing's changed with these retail units. They have super smooth gyro. And why I'm demonstrating these as well, these old ones, is that it has Pro Controller mode. It comes with this, you know, centerpiece that you're able to pop on the NYXI Hyperion 3s and kind of turn it into a pseudo Pro Controller when you're playing your games. Really nice that they include that middle piece. It makes a big difference, especially if you're trying to have a one controller setup. You do, because you have this Pro Controller style, and then if you want to take it on the go, you slap them on the side and you're ready to go. Wake from sleep function is here, and if you watched the first video, you know that there was an issue with that, and I'm happy to say that they've completely fixed that for this gen. As you can see, there we go. That's the wrong button. Oh, I pressed wrong buttons, but you can see you can wake the console from sleep. And there's a C button right here on the controller. It's a functional, proper C button, not a macro. So when you press the C button, it goes directly into the chat menu. No need to handle it with a macro and get all wonky. This works natively with the C button. Now I'm going to go over what they changed from the pre-production unit NYXI Hyperion 3s as opposed to what you're going to get here on the retail units. Now, if you don't care about this part and you just want to hear an actual review about these controllers, I'm going to leave a timestamp right here. You can skip to that point. But for the rest of you guys that want to hear what the differences are, what's changed, if anything's changed at all, here we go. So the first thing that was an issue with the pre-production units, I already showed you at the top of this video, the misprint of, if I can ever get it to focus, I probably won't ever focus, but there's the RZ misprint as opposed to ZR. They did indeed fix that. There we go. So you can see right there, there's the ZR printed correctly, not mistakenly RZ. So they fixed that. Good. The next issue that was when you connected multiple controllers to the Switch 2 at the same time with the NYXI Hyperion 3s, that there would be some sort of lag going on with that. And I can't really play two games at once like I want to right here, but I can promise you guys that this is working perfectly. I don't feel any lag. I'm also not going to be playing well at all, but you can see I'm not really experiencing any lag. It seems to be the character seemed to be jumping and working. Where's the jump button on here? Working. As soon as I press the button, I get a nice response here. So no issues with that. They fixed that as well. The next issue was going to be when you wake the console up from sleep, that they were going into Bluetooth mode, and unpairing and getting the repair was a process. So let's go ahead and just turn this guy off. Let's wait a couple seconds to make sure that they completely turn off. And let's turn the system back on with the wake to sleep function. Let's go ahead and press and hold the home button for a second. There we go. Press get into the game, and that's much quicker than last gen. If you watched the last video, you know that it took a while to actually turn on the system when you press the button. So let's go ahead and press the home button, and we can confirm right there that right at the bottom of your screen there you can see that little Switch logo right there. That means that these guys are connected physically on the rails instead of being connected in Bluetooth mode. The issue was when you open the Switch back up that they were connected to the rails, but the system was reading them as only Bluetooth mode only. So that would cause extra delay, lag input, and so obviously you can see here they're connected physically, so that issue has been resolved as well. All right, and the last issue is going to be the cardinal snapping issue. We actually have a name for it. I didn't realize when I was making my video that there was a name to it, but the issue was when you were rounding your sticks around the axes, whether it was around the whole outside circumference or if it was even in the middle of the sticks, the issue was that there was snapping to each axis. So this axis, the X axis and the Y axis, whenever you would go towards those axes, the joystick icon right there would snap to that point, meaning that the fluidity was not very fluid. It was very robotic-y, and you could feel that in gameplay at some points. But as you can see, as I roll my sticks around the gate here, you can tell that there is no snapping. They've completely fixed that out of the box. Now, I will say this too. They told me right off the bat that there's a firmware update, because we just got that new 22.0 update for the Nintendo Switch 2 that adds the boost functionality for handheld mode, and along came with that, bricking a bunch of controllers, third-party controllers in particular. No, I shouldn't say not bricking, but breaking functionality of some of them. I guess they were bricked until you updated firmware. So the companies should be either updating the firmware on their side, or when you receive it, you should be able to go to the website and download firmware. For me, NYXI sent me a personal email with the firmware. I don't think everyone's gonna be getting that treatment, so I don't know how that's gonna work in the future. These did need a firmware update to function properly upon receiving. So just keep that in mind when you're getting this controller, or really any third-party controller in particular. The firmware update for these was specifically to make sure that the issues that were going on with the pre-production units were no longer the case with these. And also, by the way, these pre-production units that I reviewed, all the issues they had with that completely fixed. Obviously, the only issue they can't fix with the firmware update is that misprint RZ. But besides that, these are actually now also completely functioning controllers just as well as these are. Now that we're kind of done with all the fixes from the pre-production unit to these one, let's actually get to the review of this controller. Now, one thing that the firmware can't fix for the NYXI Hyperion 3s is the rumble. As you guys know, with the pre-production units, I stated how awful the rumble was. It was way too much, and I'm somebody who likes rumble, and this controller just features way too much rumble. Even when you go down to the first setting, like there's 4 settings, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. When you go to 1, it was way too much, and 4 was like earthquake. I mean, and I'm a guy who likes rumble. I actually took these apart, and I wanted to see the rumble motors that came on the inside. As you can see, this is a traditional rumble motor. What we have here, this black piece with foam around it, is the motor, and right here, what you're looking at right there, that is a counterweight, and that counterweight will spin on a post axis via the motor, and that spinning of the counterweight makes your controller vibrate. These can work really well. There's a lot of controllers, especially all the OG controllers. It's not till recently that we have this haptic feedback in our controllers that our phones have, and even phones used to have something like this back in the day too, just a little bit smaller. But these motors are not ideal, but for today's standards, but they can work well. I just think it's the fine tuning of the motor they just did not tune it very well on the low settings, and the high settings they went a bit extra on that as well, in my opinion. I took them out because they made the Joy-Con lighter, and I was so tired of the rumble, and some games, I had to go in and turn off the rumble and stuff. I just was like, I'm ripping them out. That's how much I couldn't stand them. But I also did want to, of course, rip them out so I could show you guys what this looks like here. A traditional rumble motor that we see nowadays in haptic feedback or your phone is more of like a solid state brick that I don't really know exactly how those work entirely, but they're much smaller than this, and that's why they use them, as well as they're much more precise with its rumble motor movements, where this is just kind of like spinning on an axis post. There's really no precision with this. It's just like it's on or off, 0 or 1, you know what I mean? And with the Hyperion 3s, the revised retail units, I will say the rumble is less bad. It's definitely toned it down a little bit, but not by much. It's still pretty bad. I turn it off, the rumble. It's a shame, but I do turn off the rumble on this guy. I do not like the rumble on here. It's definitely not HD rumble. It's just regular rumble, and it's not very good rumble. Again, I've used controls that you have much better rumble than this, that are much cheaper. But something that has not changed from that original video is the ergonomics. These is phenomenal. In fact, I think they've even perfected the tolerances, because these actually snap on even tighter, which they feel fantastic. There's no issues with the Joy-Con falling off like some grip cases. That these have no issues like that. These stay on with when you're holding with one hand, and they just feel so tight. These feel incredible in just about every way that I've tried. When you're holding it in your hands for long periods of time, or when you are putting them on and off the system, it's really solid feeling. Of course, it will kind of get a little looser over time, but overall, ergonomics are absolutely fantastic. This is the best experience in handheld that I've tried, even better than my beloved Satisfy grip. I really, really love the way these guys feel, and it's largely to do with these full-size sticks. You can see here, I have the NYXI Hyperion 3 is up and close for you, and they're very, very different than the Switch 2 Joy-Con. Although these sticks are, of course, amazing on the regular Joy-Cons, they're just too shallow. They're way too small, and that leads to much less travel, and they just overall don't feel as good while gaming. These are full controller sticks, so you just can't beat that. However, actual feel in the hand, Joy-Cons have these guys beat, because Joy-Cons have glide sticks. Glide sticks, if you don't know what they are, it's a new technology kind of pioneered by Nintendo that basically make it so when you're rolling your stick all the way around the gate, you don't feel that plastic on plastic grind that you typically feel with some controllers. If you know, you know, and these kind of get rid of that, whereas the NYXIs, they do not feature glide sticks. I will say though, they are very good feeling sticks. I have no complaints with the feel of these sticks. They do feel very good for like last gen, but for today's standards that we have with glide sticks and these third parties undercutting this guy in price with glide sticks, this is kind of a miss from NYXI. They really should have added glide sticks, and the fact that they didn't is kind of a bummer, as well as that they're just regular Hall effect and not TMR sticks. TMR would be better, but again, no complaints except for one. My retail unit has a small issue with the right stick. It's a little too firm. It's not quite nitpicking, but it's a little too firm when I go around. Particularly, I was playing Fortnite to test it out with like a shooter game, and it's just too firm. I think I still would have told if I didn't have these originals, but these originals don't. These originals don't have that problem. These feel great. These sticks feel super smooth as far as like the tension is concerned. They feel exactly the same. The tolerances are exactly the same. They feel great, right? But this left one is very good. There's nothing wrong with this left stick, but this right stick, the tolerances are just a little bit off compared to this one. Quality control. I think that could be an issue with NYXI. I actually had the NYXI Wizard back in the day, that GameCube style split Joy-Con that went onto your original Nintendo Switch, and that had quality issues. That was not sent to me by NYXI. I paid for that, and I ended up selling that off because I did not like the way the sticks felt. They drifted on me, and they also, the tolerances didn't feel right. And it was very bad. You might say, how did your Hall effect sticks drift, Jeep? Guess what, guys? Hall effect sticks can drift. Believe it or not, guys, Hall effect sticks can drift. It's not complete drift proof like some people will say. It's not the same kind of drift that a traditional controller will face. Those face drift from wear. Typically, these Hall effect sticks, in my experiences, have drift from like electrical glitches or like magnetical glitches, or just, imperfected units. So imperfect units, sometimes it's just the unit's fault, like they just didn't get it right at the factory. And that's quality control. And NYXI does suffer, unfortunately, with some quality control, and I am seeing that with my retail unit. Now, I can't guarantee you that yours is going to have that or not, so I can't, say for one way or the other. But for me, I'm just telling you my experiences. With my pre-production units, they were perfectly fine. But with this one, there's a little bit of an issue with the right stick. Now, it's probably an issue where you can get return. I don't think they would probably have an issue with return, but just know that you're paying a lot of money for these. We'll get to the price at the end of the video because it's a very complicated issue. But yeah, the sticks, other than my issue, they feel great. I just wish they were glide sticks. And finally, let's get to the price of these guys, and it's very, complicated issue. That's why I waited to the end of the video in the last video and this one, because the retail price is $170 for these. That is absolutely crazy. But I promise you, nobody in their right mind is going to be paying that much money for these, because not only do I have my own discount code that you can save 10%, it's either 25 or 10%, I don't know, it'll be right here. But you also can find other discount codes from other people, as well as NYXI offers discount codes right on their website. Now, when the pre-sale discounts are gone, I imagine. So if you're trying to buy these pre-order, at this point when you're watching this video, it's probably already on the market and you can't get that pre-order bonus. But there are discount codes to be found and had, so please go search your discount codes. They, as far as I know, will stack until they change something about that, including my code will stack on other codes. So I've seen people get these as cheap as around $86. In my YouTube comments, people are saying how they got these for 86 bucks. For 86 bucks, these are too expensive even. I mean, I gotta be honest. I appreciate NYXI for sending these to me. However, I gotta be honest, and the price is too high. It's just too high. There's MOBA pads are coming out really soon, and MOBA pads actually dropped their price from the initial launch price that we're going to go with. Now they're actually dropping even cheaper. They're going to be starting at $70 and $80 for those, and those feature more features than this guy does. It is hard to recommend this. It just is. The thing that's saving it for me though, and if you can get these for 86 bucks or right around that $90 range is a sweet spot, not 170, is the ergonomics. I mean, I can't speak on the MOBA pads ergonomics yet. I don't have them. And as the features, there could be something wrong with this. I don't know. I have the MOBA pad Chai 2. That review is on the channel. I love that thing. So if it's just as good as that Chai 2 is, I'm going to love the MOBA pad new Joy-Con, the M12s. These, I don't love them. I wanted to love them and I just don't. But what I do love is what I said before earlier in this video that you may have glossed over. I think the ergonomics on these is better than any other handheld on the market right now. That could change when MOBA pads come out, but that also couldn't change. These could stay the ergonomic kings, in my opinion, when the MOBA pads come out. They could just be good and not great. These are great for the ergonomics. If you're somebody who needs better feeling Joy-Con, you can look at the size difference here. These are huge compared to these original Joy-Cons in size. They make a huge difference. They're just the perfect feel in my hand. They're not too heavy. They're not too overcoming and cumbersome. They fit in my Savage Raven max carry case, which is 30 bucks. Save 10% with my discount code. I can't recommend it enough, but they fit right in here. So for around 100 bucks, 120 bucks, you have an amazing combo package right here. And not to mention, they do change into a Pro controller when you want. I don't know if the MOBA pads will come with one of these in the box. These do, and they will charge, as you can see right there, they charge via USB-C from this attachment. You can't see it because my camera hates me. It won't focus right now, but that's a nice thing. There are nice things to be said about these. There's a nice product to be had. I know a lot of you picked these up, and I appreciate you guys in my last video using my discount code. That really supports the channel. It's an affiliate link. It really supports me, and I appreciate you guys using that code. Even though I was super critical about them in that video, and I'm critical of them in this video too, I'm sure more people will buy them. I don't think you should not buy them, because some of the things that I have issues with this thing, you might not have issues with. So I mean, it's all personal preference. I'm just here to give you my perspective. I will, I'm not crapping on them or anything like that. They're just my perspective. I think the ergonomics are great. I think that's kind of where the best of things about these kind of end, unfortunately, when you're comparing them. But if you just isolate these on their own, they're about the same price if you get the discount codes as the Joy-Con that you get from the Nintendo Switch 2 out of the box. If you need a second pair, do not buy one of these. Don't go to the store and buy, even though I have them modded right here and they look freaking awesome. Don't buy these original Joy-Con at the store, because these are $100. You do not need to buy more Joy-Con. Buy these or something like these as a second pair of Joy-Con, especially if they come with this Pro controller attachment. So I do like these things. I wanted to love them and I only like them. But with that being said, they're still a good product at the end of the day. So if you can get that price down, get them. But if you have to pay more than $100 for these, I cannot recommend you buy them. I recommend them in the $85 to $90 range. That's the sweet spot for these. But even that's a little bit more expensive than their competition, which might come out even better than these. And that video is going to come out soon as well. They're not actually shipped yet to reviewers or customers, but those should be the routine units when this comes. So make sure to get subscribed and like this video and ding the bell to know when we go live on the channel, so you can know when the MOBA Pad HDs, 12 HDs come out on the channel review. So all that said, NYXI, I think you have a good product. I think you have issues with quality control, and these sticks, mine has a little issue, but ultimately they feel really good in the hands of the ergonomics and everything like that. It's fantastic. So if you guys like this video, again, please leave a like and subscribe. Check out my other videos on the channel. I have some linked right here at the end of the video. Thank you to channel members for supporting me. I really appreciate that. Coffees with Games, shout out to you, the only one as far as recording this video. And if you want to be a part of the community with the channel memberships, you can join that down below, right below me. But for now, we're going to sign off. Thank you guys, and we'll see you next one.